welcome to this video, the third and final part of how to build an LED tester. In this video, we're building the tester and testing the tester so you can see exactly what it does. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Every comment gives me valuable feedback so that I know what you like, what you don't like, what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right. Okay, thank you. So at the heart of our project is the 555 timer, and I've placed it on the board. It's not soldered in yet, but it's just placed in the board. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the components and solder in, but I'm going to do that in fast time, so I'll speed the video up a little bit so you can so it doesn't make the video drag on forever. Okay, so I placed the 555 timer in the circuit board, and there it is. We know this one's working. I've tested it earlier. So if you've got the circuit diagram up on your screen, then you'll see on the circuit diagram that pins 2 and 6 have to be connected together. So the way to do that is to put a jumper across them, because otherwise, as you can see, it'll interfere with pins 3, 4 and 5. We don't want that. So the best way is to put a jumper straight across these ones. What I'm going to use is a piece of this very thick wire. It's thick, but it's copper and it's great for forming. The way I form it is take a pair of pliers and just form it into the shape you want, into the size that you want. There we go. So you can fit that into there. Here's one I created earlier. So now I'm going to put this in and solder it in. What I'll do is I'll speed the video up at this point. Next comes up the 1 nanofarad disc capacitor, and that is a code for that is 102. Don't know if you can see that. 102, and that goes anywhere on the line that's connected between 2 and 6 to ground. So I can connect it. Oh, trying to keep this on camera here. I can keep it between there and there, between 2 and 6 and ground. Oops, sorry for the camera wobble. And then that gets soldered in. So next up is the 10 nanofarad capacitor, and that goes between pin 5 and ground. So if you count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's this pin here. Oops, I keep getting this off camera, but I'm trying to keep it on camera as best I can. So there we are, that goes into there. So next up is connecting pin 1 to ground. So that's pin 1. If you look at the, oops, sorry for the camera wobble. If you look at the 555 timer, there's a little cutout. I'm not sure if you can see it here very well, but there's a little cutout, and that indicates pin 1. There's also a circle cutout. Pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, then right to left, 5, 6, 7, 8. So pin 1 is here, there's a little cutout. Pin 1 from there to ground. Now then I'll make a solder joint between here and ground, a big ground here. So let's do that next. So next up is the transistor, the MOSFET, which is a 5N60 I'm using here. I don't know if you can see the number on there, possibly. So how is this going? Well, as you can see here, I've bent pin 1 backwards, because pin 1 is the ground. Sorry, the gate, and that goes to a 4.7 ohm resistor going to pin 3, which is over here. There's going to be a resistor going in there. Pin number 3 is the source, and that goes directly to ground. So that's going to come from here to ground. That's my ground line there, as you already know. And that leaves the drain, which is pin number 2, which is here. That goes straight up to the positive rail, which is going to be up here, across there somewhere. So let's get that soldered into place. So next up comes this resistor at 4.7 ohms, and its color should be yellow, purple, and 2 gold stripes. And you can see I've placed it in here already, in there. So it's going from the gate of the transistor. So get this from the gate of the transistor to pin number, through this resistor to pin 3 of the 555. So I've placed it in, so I'm now going to solder it in place. So next up is the 10k resistor. It's going from pin 6 to pin 7. As you can see, I've placed it in here already, and its color, as you can see, is brown, black, orange, and gold. And that goes from 6 to 7. I'll solder that in. So next up comes the resistor coming from pin 7 to pin 8, 47 kiloohms. I've placed it in here already. I'm trying to keep this on camera. And as you can see, I hope you can see, it is yellow, purple, orange, and gold. Okay, see that one there? So I'm just going to solder that one into place. So next up comes the inductor running from pin 8 and the 47 kiloohm resistor straight to the inductor. So next up is the diode, and it's supposed to be a UF4007. I'm using a UF4005. The differences are minimal. If you look at the circuit diagram, you can see the diode symbol, an arrow pointing to a stop sign, if you like. That corresponds with this diode here. As you can see, that this would be the arrow, and this is the stopper there, this ring. This connects to the inductor, and will connect also to the capacitor, which comes in after this. So I'm just going to solder this diode in place. So next up comes the capacitor. I've placed it in the board here already, and it's going from the diode, so the positive end of the capacitor, which is the one without the stripe. So the line with the stripe is the negative. That's going to come down this line here, which I've put in, and to our negative line down here. So next up comes the 330 kiloohm resistor, and that's one here. I've placed it in the board already. As you can see, its colour is orange, orange, yellow, gold. And it connects from the positive end of the capacitor to the negative end of the capacitor, straight down to ground. Okay, I'll solder that in place. So that brings us to the last resistor. Now, as you can see, I've placed it in circuit here already, and it's coming from the end of the positive rail, plus of the capacitor, this resistor. This is the last one, this is the output. And this one is brown, green, and yellow, and gold. I don't know if you can see that very well. So I'll solder that in now. So it's built, and I've set it up here so we can see the voltage output from this thing. And it's connected to the mains transformer. It's not connected yet. It's not switched on yet. There's the mains transformer coming in. This only puts out 6 volts, 6.8 volts or something, coming in to our positive and negative through our circuit, and the output here is connected to the multimeter. So let's switch on the transformer So, be aware if you're going to do this at home. Transformer is running at 240 volts, and if you touch these wires, you're going to get a slight jingle. So be careful with mains volts. I'll switch it on, see what we're going to get up here at the multimeter. It should be somewhere in 100 and something volts. So you can see we're actually putting out 202 volts, which is a bit more than what, 200 volts. Around about 200 volts, which is a bit more than what I expected. The last one I made put out about 130 volts. This capacitor's a 1 microfarad bigger, so the transistor's warm but not hot. So there you go, that's how you do it. So now I'm going to build this into the case and attach a voltmeter and show you how that's done. So the next stage is to cut the circuit board down so it'll fit into my case. So take a nice pair of cutters and start cutting. It grieves me to do this because I reuse these circuit boards a lot, however. Ooh. And on the back side, cut a piece off here as well. Yeah, that's quite small, although a bit crooked. So now I'll mess around and try and get into this case, and then I'll restart the video. So, as you know, anything connected to the mains should have a nice fuse in it. So I've got this one here, which I showed you earlier, and I've inserted it onto this bit of cut off circuit board. And this is going to go in separately, so the mains will come in here on one side and straight to the transformer on the other. So I'll get that soldered in, and that'll act as a separate little board. So that's my fuse soldered in. So now I'll cut this down again into the size that I want it. And there we go, there's a little fuse board now. I can even probably cut that down a bit more. Yep, I can. Here we go. There's a little fuse board. And that'll just hot glue in to place. And then it's easy to remove the fuse, he says. Very easy to remove the fuse and replace it. Okay. So I'm going to hot glue this transformer in, so I'll put a bit of hot snot on here, a good dollop. Place that into the place, and then I'm going to do a bit down here as well to keep this board in place. A bit more in there. Oop. And a bit around here. Now I have to wait for that to dry. Oh, cool, sorry. So I'm going to install a fuse now. the wire from the transformer wasn't long enough, so I've added a piece in, and I'm going to hot shrink it up. So this is the mains wire coming in now. I've soldered it here, and the fuse the other side of it. So on the fuse side, I want to put a bit of hot glue on here, just to give it some insulation. There we go. And then on this side, we're going to air heat it, heat shrink it. So this is the final product, minus the crocodile clips that I'm going to put on. So I'll tell you about the wiring. You see the AC is coming in. I've put a switch in here. So the AC is coming into one end of the switch, onto the other end of the switch, and then coming back to the transformer. So the AC is coming into the transformer. Another end, it comes straight into a fuse, which then comes into the transformer. And the wire is coming from the transformer, obviously, to the circuit, and the output wire here. I did a slight modification, sort of unintended, but I put in this switch and an LED circuit, LED driver circuit, with two diodes. I'll put the circuit diagram up so you can get a view of that. So on the top side we have a switch and an LED indicator to tell us that it's on. Okay, so here's a broken LED panel. You can see it's blown out here. The surge protection's gone. But I want to test the LEDs to see if it's worth repairing these first. So if I was using a multimeter, I'll switch it on to diode mode in this old fluke, and wrong way around. And as you can see, we get a diode drop on the multimeter, but it doesn't light them up. It hasn't got the power to do it. It just doesn't have the power to light these up. Individual LEDs won't even, most of it won't do anything. So it'd be useless trying that. So throw that away, and the multimeter leads are connecting to the LED tester. I suppose you could connect those in permanently to a couple of leads. And see the difference now with this tester. Oh. And we get nothing. Have I switched it on? No, I haven't. Switch it on. Let's try here. Oh, there we go. So you can see now I can light up the panel and see which LEDs, if any, are dead. And I can go right across it as much as I like from 2 points. Something I couldn't do with the multimeter. So that's the beauty of this LED tester. Okay. If you enjoyed this video series, then please like and subscribe and comment. I love comments. It's really encouraging for me. Thank you.